I've seen so many other videos about like moms talking about how they lost their spark after they had their babies. And the comments underneath those videos are absolutely so sad. What's even sadder is that like majority of the comments are women, majority of the comments are moms, mom shaming. And honestly, I just feel like I just want to do my little input. I'm only about 7 months postpartum, and my postpartum journey has looked different than many of the people in my family, many of my friends who have had babies. My child was born 4 months early, spent 6.5 months in the NICU, and has now been home for 2 weeks. And so over the last 2 weeks, I've gotten a lot of comments from my family members, from my friends, like, how does being a mommy feel? How does mothering feel? Like, I haven't been somebody's mom for the last 7 months. The misconception that NICU parents only show up and then go home and like don't be involved, don't have to make decisions, is like the biggest misconception that exists when it comes to people thinking about parents in the NICU, if they're even thought about. In the last 2 weeks, I've had more people reach out to me. I've had more people call me, all in regards to my child. And so when we talk about moms losing their spark, when moms are pregnant, you have to go from appointment to appointment to appointment. There's always somebody doting on you. There's somebody waiting on you hand and foot, asking to do something for you. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, now the baby has appointments. You have one follow-up appointment and they tell you if you're good. They do their little ranking if you have postpartum depression. But for the moms who give birth extremely early, who wake up one day and are admitted to the hospital the same day when they were just like out of town, like I was, the shift mentally, nobody asked about that. And that's one thing like I have sat with being in the NICU, and I had to kind of hold by myself. Of course, I talked to Nick, my fiance, and like share with my mom, but like people really leave you out to dry when your life is in crisis. And it's almost impossible for you to maintain who you were before your life was in crisis. Before I went to the hospital, literally, like the weekend before, I was out of town. I was hanging out with my friends. I bought so many cute dresses because I finally started getting a little bump, only for my life to change as soon as I got home. And nobody, now I'm not gonna say nobody, but there are very, very few people. Like I can count on my hand the amount of people who continuously checked in on me over the 6.5 months of my child being in the hospital. I can count on fingers the amount of people who came to visit me when I was in the hospital. There are days where I just like thank God that, I was taught grace and I was given grace and understanding to not feel hatred towards people. But like some days, like it really hurts that people didn't check in. It hurts that people stopped reaching out. It hurts that nobody offered to get your house cleaned or come bring you a home cooked meal or wash a load of laundry. And it's things like that that nobody thinks about that contribute, because regardless of what moms have going on in their life, they still have to show up for their families. And it's not like I have to. It is my joy to be able to take care of my child, to be able to take care of my husband. Like those things are not obligations, but they are obligations. Regardless of what I have going on, the show has to go on. So of course, I do my hair, I put my makeup on, I put a cute outfit on, and you're like, oh my gosh, she's handling it so well. And I think that is also a sentiment that I have received so much in the last 2 weeks, that, oh, I would have never been able to do like what you do or like handle it the way that you handle it. But it's like, until you've been in that position, you don't know what you would do. I never even thought that I would become the person that I am, like advocating the way that I was, being non-passive aggressive, like being direct. I never would have thought that would be who I am now. But I'm somebody mama. Like I didn't have time really to sulk in my shame, sulk in my disappointment, sulk in my experience being completely morphed by things that were out of my control. So of course, like my spark is gone. I tell everybody, but nobody listens, that I will never be the same again. The girl I was before I got admitted to the hospital is gone. I barely remember who she was, and it was only like 7 months ago. I barely remember the things she liked. I barely remember the things she cared about. I don't even remember what my smile looks like, because I've smiled so fakely over the last 6 months, and everybody has just taken it as genuine because that's what they wanted to see. As long as I had on a mask, as long as I was, giving them the persona that they wanted to feel like was okay, I was okay. Because the moments when I was being real and honest, they just stared at me. Or they met with me with their own disappointments about how I wasn't showing up in my relationships and my friendships. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine your friend giving birth 4 months early, having a child that is on the cusp of not even being viable, and you're coming to her telling her that, like, yeah, we wish you would have included us more, or like, you just stopped talking, or you just stopped responding in group chats and stuff. And I'm just like, bro, my child could have died. I could have died. And that's what you want to talk about? So of course, the vibrant person that moms were, as we are adjusting, it literally says that it takes 2 years for your body to completely adjust, not revert, to completely adjust. And in that, we're keeping a child alive, keeping our kids alive, returning immediately back to work after growing organs, our own additional organs, but also growing babies' organs and keeping them alive. Like, all of these things play a big role. And NICU mamas, like, we have an additional stress that, like, it isn't talked about. We share our sad amongst each other if we are in positions that we can be around people who share the same experiences. And for the most part, we probably flock to the same Facebook groups that, I'm in, because that was the only place that I could go to get information. I didn't engage much, but I looked at the comments, I read other people's posts, because that's where I felt seen. My friends couldn't relate to me. I was literally pregnant at the same time as one of my friends. And, I'll say it here, but like, for the duration of the time that I was supposed to be pregnant, because we were due around the same time, it was just like, how does it feel to live my dream? And I still had to smile. And I wasn't fakely being happy for her, because I am overjoyed for her. Like, I can't wait for our children to meet each other. But at the same time, it's like, I spent so much time watching other people live my dream. Like, and that shit is hard. Like, watching other people live the life that you, like, wanted so badly, and having to make the most out of, like, shit. Basically, they hand you a shit pie and say, make it a sweet potato pie. Like, and I feel like I did the best that I could, but like, there were definitely days where I didn't want to get out of bed, but I did, because I had to go see my child. There were days I didn't want to shower, but I did, because I didn't want to be dirty going to see my very, very ill child. There were days I didn't want to pump, but that was the only thing that I could do to provide for my child. There were so many times where I just didn't have it in me to do anything, but I did. And in the days where you just don't have it in you, that chips away at you. It chips away at you. The more you have it, the more you realize you don't have a village, the more you realize you don't have community. And just hearing everybody's stories and then watching how people are responding so negatively is just like, if you sat a moment in our shoes, would you still comment the things that you comment? Like, there's so many conversations that I know I'll never have with the people who were in my life before I had a child. Literally a week before I had a child, there were just so many days where I literally sat with Nick and I was just like, I have to be okay. Because what do people aren't equipped to sit with my sad. People aren't equipped for the real answer of how am I doing. They're not. They don't really want the answer. They want the answer that doesn't require them to dig deeper than what they came to the conversation prepared to say. Like, oh, I'm so glad. How's the baby? Like, I'm miserable. If I told you I'm miserable, what would you be able to do? Like, if I told you I didn't want to go to the hospital no more, what's the response that you like give? Like, and those are the things that we have to take into consideration when we're talking to one freshly postpartum moms. Like, and I want to say also just like young, like Gen Z moms, and not just like teenager young. Like, I'm 24, about to be 25. Like, young moms who didn't have the conversations of, what motherhood looks like. We spend our lives being told, don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant. And for me, I had this like secret, not even secret, just like private desire that like, I do want to become a mom. I got this like calling on my heart that I did want to become a mom. And when I finally got the opportunity after months and months of trying, it was just like, I don't even know if I want to share this joy with like the women in my family, because one, I've been told my whole life, don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant. And why would I share something I've been working so hard on and also like longing for, basically, if the conversations that we've had previously weren't positive? But I also think that instead of telling girls, don't be mothers, we should have conversations of, this is a possibility of what this could look like for you. Here is systems to put in place so that you can thrive in your postpartum. Here are experiences that I went through my pregnancy, and like, if this happens to you, because that's something that I ran into, family members sharing that something similar happened to them that happened to me while I was pregnant, and resulted in me giving birth early. Like, those are things I would have been on the lookout for. Those are things that I would have shared with my midwife. Those are things that, when I experienced those pains, when I was, going through things, I would have taken it a little bit more seriously, instead of thinking like, this is just the pain that women have to go through to make a baby. This is just standard pregnancy pain. But if we have these conversations of like, yeah, the first couple weeks may be hard, but tell me what you need beforehand. Like, I remember talking to my friend who was having a baby, and I was just like, yeah, you need to set up systems. And I was going to set up systems, but I was so early in my pregnancy, I thought I had more time to set up systems. And when me and Nick decided to have a baby, like, we already knew that we wouldn't have like a gigantic village. Like, we already knew that like his family wouldn't be involved as much because they're not involved in our everyday lives. We knew that, my family involvement consisted of my mom and my brother when he wanted to be bothered. So we knew that we wouldn't have that village. We knew that date nights wouldn't be, oh, let's call a babysitter or let's call grandma. Like, not saying that my mom wouldn't come, but my mom also lives 2 hours away. So we decided to continue our family with the knowledge of, not having that village and not having that support. But when you have so many people around you and all of those people disperse and disappear, and now that the baby is home, everybody is kind of, creeping out the bushes and like, oh, I want to see the baby. Oh, I want to see. But it's just like, I don't have the capacity to deal with the conversations that, should be had. But I'm not going to have them, because the same way you couldn't hold the conversation of me sharing what I was really going through for the last 6.5 months is the same way that I don't have the capacity to sit there and tell you how you've hurt my feelings, only for you to sit there and look at me. So yeah, moms lose their spark, but we get up, we do our best, we try again, we try and raise kind-hearted kids, we try and, show up for our friends, show up for our families, we try and show up for ourselves. And, some days we may do less than the day before, and some days we may go above and beyond. But nonetheless, like, nobody taught us how to be a mom. Nobody gave us an instruction manual and said, this is how you follow it. Nobody gave us like rule books. We're playing it day by day and doing what we think is right and reaching out when we need help, and, hoping that people aren't holding it against us, that we're literally just doing what we have to do to survive. And I feel like that's something that, like, I hope my friends see. I hope my family sees. Like, yes, I am upset. Yes, I am disappointed that y'all didn't come and visit, that y'all didn't call, that y'all didn't ask about me more than y'all asked about my child. Like, I am upset. I am disappointed in the people who prioritize their own feelings over me. Like, my life wasn't in crisis. I am. But in the face of my crisis, like, those conversations are so low on my priority list. And as much as I valued those friendships, the way that people didn't show up for me showed me how much that they valued my friendship. And so the people who are around, seeing moms get up every day, doing the best they can, showing up the best they can, they see the little glimmers of spark that are left. And they're holding on to that for us, and they're encouraging us to get our hair done, encouraging us to get our nails done, encouraging us to eat a little bit more, encouraging us to get out the house. Like, our sparks are not completely gone. They've just dwindled. They've dwindled, realizing like the people around us don't illuminate us the way that they did. The things that I used to like, I no longer like anymore. So now I'm putting in energy to find the new things that I like. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm saying it to you, and I'm saying it to myself, that like, it's okay to be so unfamiliar with the person you were before you became a mom. Your whole life changed. Chemically, you've changed. Your body has changed. Your priorities have changed. So it's okay not to be the exact carbon copy the person that you were. But it's also okay to take some time for yourself. It's okay to get that baby to the baby daddy, the baby grandma, to go take a shower, a long everything shower. Like, shave your legs if you like to do that. Wash your hair. Like, it's okay to do things for yourself. But don't try and demean moms who are literally just trying to survive. Because we've literally done something that, like, is science. We've done science. We've created miracles. Whether your baby came early or not, like, making a baby, carrying a baby in your body, creating organs, creating life, like, period, that's a miracle. And those who carry miracles, those who are, assisting in the birthing of a miracle, it takes a lot out of you. And until you have done it, or until you have, like, been empathetic to somebody who has done it, it's easy for y'all to leave these nasty comments. It's easy for y'all to just, like, snicker and kiki and laugh at the people who don't look as pretty as they used to. But, like, that's just really showing how ugly you are. So that's just my 2 cents. I guess this is my long introduction to Black mom talk. So, Nikki mamas, Black mamas, I would love to connect with y'all. I don't know what my content is about to look like because, like I said, I do not know who I am anymore because I'm not the girl that I was. But I want to get back to that. Like, I want to find who I am in this new season of my life, as I will in many changing seasons of my life. So, my name is Alexis. If you liked my spiel, I don't usually do videos like these on TikTok, but thanks for sticking around, and follow, comment, share, do the things.